Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Weekend Frivolity. This is our Broiler Chicken Show. Bark, bark, bark. Rational Investor. Hey, it's working. I don't know if I've set the page up correctly or not. A lot of times I don't do this very well. Let's see, what does it say there? Stock, crypto, and stock trading ideas. Hello, everyone! We used to call this, I thought we used to, name this the Broiler Chickens or something. Probably screwed that up. But oh well, it's not that big of a deal. Welcome back to the fun. Looks like we had a couple people popping into the lounge here. No idea if how much participation we're going to have on the site today. I do notice the market's kind of a little bit weird here right now. And I do notice that the corn isn't really moving a hell of a lot, although, gee whiz, you listen to the public and you'd think that it was going skyrocketing here. But what the hell? We'll see what happens. I just want to make sure I've done this right, because a lot of times I don't do this very well. Actually, I don't even know if you can actually edit this kind of stuff while the video's going. So, let's see if I go on my channel. We're all going to learn how the hell to do YouTube while I'm doing a video. Oh boy. Oh, isn't that interesting? Well, Crypto Trading Community Show. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. We don't give it the Broiler Chicken's name in the headline, though. That's a little depressing. I like my Broiler Chickens. Isn't that interesting? So it's like I just went on the page here, and I guess while you're, I guess if you do a live video, this gets dumped into here now. Sort of your front page, I guess. Anyway. Usually our little sort of intro with San and Alex there, which I so love, and all the people from Europe. That usually plays there, but anyway. Welcome back to the frivolity. Of course, it looks like YouTube and Google and all that stuff, they're evolving as we speak. It'd be really interesting to see how this cryptocurrency sort of proxy, sort of maybe alternatives to YouTube. We'll see how that develops over time. Right now, sure feels like YouTube's got a monopoly on this space. And probably, actually, it wouldn't even surprise me that Google, seeing the threat from library credits, was probably the instigator of getting them into trouble recently with regulators and stuff. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I know Justin, I've had a little bit of his one of his cryptocurrency proxies on the books for a while. I think he went in and bought one of these decentralized video sharing platforms, at least the cryptocurrency, whatever that is associated with. Bit2, but I did notice it's starting to perk up lately. W's coming in, so maybe he's getting ready to do something. Who knows? Anyway, here we are on the YouTube channel and the YouTube show. I don't know how many people are actually here. We got, hey, look at that. It's good. About 15, 20 people in the lounge here today, so welcome all you people. Over there on YouTube, we got about, looks like about a dozen or so that's nice to see. And actually, we got a special treat for all you people that are here live and that watch the show relative real time. In previous years, terms, quarters, we've spent like a whole week sort of promoting raffle and joining TRI and the whole karmic PMA kind of thing. But I took vacation last week, and I didn't really want to do any work, and I kind of sort of half-assed my way around the site this past week. So as a result, we do plan to have the next school term start this coming May 10th, which is actually, I guess technically next week. The first week of the school program is like an intake introduction week. it's not really the end of the world if people do sign up through this period. But with that said, usually we have about a week or so to do a free raffle and really pump you guys up and fill that list. And the team was like, well, Brian, because you went on vacation, we probably won't be able to do a raffle. And I was like, damn it, these people, they need their candy. They need their treats, especially the people that tune in regularly. So I pounded the table for my people on YouTube, damn it. TRI, you're going to give them a raffle whether you like it or not. So we decided we're going to do a 24-hour Flash Raffle. Woohoo! This will be a treat for the people that actually watch this show religiously and the regular sort of tuner-inners. In that we're just going to open up the raffle sort of seating today, and if you are interested, I think I put this sign up wait list. So what it is right now is it's Julian told me he could just, for today, we'll leave it open, pop on here, put your name in, and then I'm just going to pull from that list a raffle winner for tomorrow morning. So it's about 10 o'clock here on the west coast. It's Sunday, May 2nd. So if you pop on, and we got about a few hundred people that watch this video through Sundays. I usually come back and there's a good 400 or 500 people that have watched this video. So all of you people, this is directly targeted to you. And, of course, people later on in the week are going to be like, oh, man, that sucks, man. I didn't know. Well, shit happens. If you pop on tonight and you're in that list, it should be actually a pretty short list. There's probably not going to be a hell of a lot of people on that list. But as a special treat for you guys who watch this religiously and tune in, every Sunday you watch this, that's just for you. So there's a treat for you. And Kevin and I will do the raffle spin tomorrow morning at the end of our little daily show and announce the big winner. So there you go. And of course, with that said, I mean, frankly speaking, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think the price tag, the boys wanted to keep it below $1,000. And with this stupid Fugazi world, I mean, technically, if the loaf of bread is doubling at the grocery store, your price of gasoline's doubling. Shouldn't this course now be $2,000? And the hyperinflation over the weekend, I suppose we'll talk about it later. I was listening to Buffett and Munger. I can't believe those guys are 90 years old. 90 years old! That's crazy. Anyway, bumbling away up on stage there at the Berkshire Hathaway public meeting. Anyway, the point being that they even were like, holy yeah, geez, prices are going up all over the place, and we're raising our prices. So, I mean, what the hell? I guess there's inflation. I mean, it's so silly. For the price that we charge this thing, we're practically giving this course away. In fact, actually, we have our level 1 instructor. I think he popped on the call here today. He's in the hangout with me. Hey, there he is, Graham. So, I don't know whether Graham wants to say anything or not, but actually, we're having a lot of fun on the website right now. Oh, my God. It's actually what I kind of wanted, and I think what Julian actually wanted from, day one of the site, is we finally have sort of up and running a full-time day traders, futures traders, these are professional traders, the room just up and running and everybody just coming to work, doing their job day in, day out, no emotion, no over the top, no big connect, all that kind of bullshit in this space. Just traders just running their business of trading. It's fucking awesome. So proud of these guys. And it's what a fantastic testament it happens to be. Our level 1 instructor, Grim's in there every day. We're trading his 9-minute charts, just owning the market like a boss. And Kiran, our level 2 instructor, and his sidekick Daniele, They actually are right now working on a next level. Take the TRI level 1, 2, and 3 as sort of your basic introductory program to the entire world of investing. All right, now you want to actually start running your small business of trading, then hop in and this is assuming, of course, that you like trading futures contracts. Because keep in mind, whoops, one of my screens just went. I wonder if that was a screensaver thing. You guys notice that something really weird's going on with Trex and memory? I notice every time, look at that. Every time Trex, if I leave this page open, the browser after a while, it just goes, memory problems. If I leave it just on like open orders or something like that, I actually have to put it on a specific coin for it not to time out. I don't know whether you guys have noticed that recently, but it's a little bit irritating. Anyway, totally side topic. I just noticed one of my windows kind of went a little funny there. And it happens when this Trek site does its funny business. All right, where was I? Once upon a time. All right, so if you are interested, and I think I put the link in the description of this video here. So we'll announce the winner tomorrow. And like I said, 24-hour flash. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. I do like to give that karmic vibe out to the universe. I did take a week off vacation and kind of half-assed last week and just had more fun than work. So what's a girl to do? The compromise is we'll just do a 24-hour one. So all you long-time watchers, here's your opportunity to actually really increase the odds, because there's probably not going to be that many people that are going to be on the wheel that we spin tomorrow. So good luck. I don't know, I might be just talking to myself. It'll actually be interesting. I even said to the Julian, I said, well, what happens if only 3 people sign up? He's like, okay, well, then there'll be 3 people on the wheel. Talk about good odds. So, I'm an open book. You know that. I'm not going to bullshit you. So, if anything, it'll be funny. Hey, look how nobody's interested in being rational investors. In fact, the Dogecoin guy, he's making fun of rational investors right now. So I guess that makes sense. And I think I even remember telling you guys a while ago that by the end of this insanity, you guys probably won't even be the slightest bit interested in a guy like me. I don't know. Who knows? Just having fun trading. Half of the reason why I do this day in, day out is because this is my passion. And I guess I like the sound of my own voice too. But actually in the daily briefs and stuff, I've been trying to dial it down. So we have a lot of site participants and stuff who do content for the daily briefs now, which pleases me immensely. And also helps my vocal cords a bit. So. Did say that today, because the school is out right now, that it would be kind of like more of like a freestyle. It's going to interact a little bit more with you guys on the YouTube page, and of course anybody in the Hangout who has a question. So if you do have questions, probably today is probably the absolute best day to at least, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I have the answers, and that's probably half of the reason why people don't really follow me that much, is because I'm never really going to just sort of, oh, buy this and you're guaranteed to make money. Big Connect. That kind of nonsense. I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm just another guy in the market, just, running my business plan. I've got a number of different business plans. And sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. It's just, you got to live by the sword, die by the sword. That's the way. And, it's funny because I was joking about Munger there earlier, an old man yelling at Bitcoin. And it's kind of funny in their rant yesterday, the two of them, him and Buffett, obviously they were asked about Bitcoin. They don't really like Bitcoin that much. But in a weird sort of way, I can kind of understand that why he's so bitter. Because these guys did publicly come out and tout that they bought gold, which technically should have been that store of value, exact same argument that that a lot of people use to justify buying Bitcoins. In the previous demographic cycle point, exactly the same point on the cycle, The public came all in absolutely insane hard on the long side in the gold market. And I think that's what he was expecting this cycle, and it just never happened. And so as a result, he's losing money. And, anytime an old 90-year-old crotchety guy's losing money, you can imagine what his sentiment is if something else is perceived to be stealing that money away from him. He's like Munger kind of reminds me of Potter from It's a Wonderful Life kind of guy, sitting there in his wheelchair, 1,000,000 years old. Doesn't really need the money, but he's pissed off as hell if he sees that he's not making money where he thinks he should be. Yeah, I think I did put the link to the raffle down in the description, but I never know how YouTube and stuff, and keep in mind, I'm not really that good at this YouTube stuff. So, and on the weekends, I kind of just wing it on my own, so I might have screwed that up, but I think, yeah, so anybody watching this video, I'm not sure if this is going to record this or not, it might freak everything out, but I did in the description here, I just put Flash 24-hour Q2 21 Level 1 School for TRI's School for Trader Development Raffle, 24 hours, there it is, winner announced Monday, May 3rd through Daily Brief Recap Show. So already, I think probably Golden Burks, you got, the odds of you winning this are actually pretty damn good. When it comes to raffles, you don't really get these kind of stacked odds very often. Anyway, so there's 30 people over there now, right? So anyway, it's under the video. Yeah, okay. So, just talking a little bit about what I've been blabbing about on social media and stuff. I think last time I sort of talked to you guys, I think I remember talking in the public videos about the shitcoin market and how I get the impression that this is absolutely perfect shitcoin kind of market. Which means that probably by the end of this, we are going to be hearing lots of those sort of BitConnect kind of Ponzi schemes. And it's going to be over the top. And of course, the regulators are going to, point to all the BitConnects. And who knows what the actual name of the next BitConnect story is. But I can absolutely guarantee you it's happening now as we speak. And, it'll only become sort of a social meme and stuff like that after it's hit, like, sort of its zenith. But I wouldn't be surprised if the coming... And this is the irony of capitalism. Is, whether it be the 87 crash or whether it be, I remember there was a mini crash there in early 90s. Whether it be and that was... actually, I was at university then, I remember that. Then there was, there was a sort of a mini kind of break when long-term capital management went beg your pardon. But then, .com blow up, crash, quote unquote. Of course, you guys, a lot of you, maybe not even that many of you now, who knows. The 2017 Bitcoin top and then its subsequent quote-unquote crash, they're not really crashes. That's the stupid part about this. Like, if you look at like 1987 stock market, perfect example. Of course, history, and if you go to, grade 10 economics kind of nonsense, in high schools and stuff, they'll teach you that 87 was a big stock market crash, when in reality it wasn't. This is the 1980 bottom, and you can even see, I talk about it a bit, where really all the 87 crash was just actually a very natural, healthy 50% retracement of this bull market. Really nothing really out of the ordinary here, which is ironic. And ironically enough, I might even argue that the Wyckoff check people wanted this to come down and really check this breakout level. And they're kind of like, we got left behind, the bastards. And of course, you might even argue that at this point right here, this was basically when our modern day Fugazi world started. Why? Because back in this time, this is when Paul Volcker was brought in right here, and the whole idea of the war on inflation. And the public statement was, we are concerned about the purchasing power of the currency, and stability of prices in our society is a very high priority. That was all right in here. And Mr. Volcker was perceived to have won the war on inflation by cranking interest rates dramatically up. And then, of course, he retired. Mr. Greenspan, of course, took over following him. And Mr. Greenspan did exactly the opposite, where anytime there was any sign of weakness in the economy, he would come to the rescue by lowering interest rates. And really, this is what sort of started this whole modern monetary theory nonsense. It actually started here back in the 1980s. It just takes 40 years for it finally to come to fruition. So, the irony of it all is I think Greenspan actually was a gold bull. And he's even quoted as saying, you go in this, George Bush Sr. called it voodoo economics. But you go into this crazy world where, hey, we're governments. We don't have to balance a budget. We can do any old damn thing we want. Well, that's created this nuts of world that we live in right now. And ironically enough, I think from a historical perspective, the irony of it all is that it's not this. This is a different part of the cycle that people they actually harken back. I hear a lot of people hearkening back to this part of the cycle, but this isn't the same part of the cycle. This is actually where we are right here. And actually, I've been thinking about this more and more and more, and it just makes absolutely perfect sense. Where, Klaus and stuff like that, they're going to really pump up the whole socialist message. And yet, and that's exactly what's supposed to happen at the top of this cycle. What was really interesting through the 1920s is it was a complete reset from that previous century, the 19th century, into the 20th century. And I even put out funny little sort of tweets a while ago about what's our society going to look like on the other side of COVID and whatever the sort of crisis du jour is that they use to reset the whole fucking Ponzi scheme. Here, right, we had, of course, there was Spanish flu. And, actually I had this one history teacher years ago. He said, there never was a break in between World War I and World War II. It was actually just a breather. They just did a timeout because of Spanish flu. Everybody went, whoa, timeout. And they still went to war, in the 1920s, and ultimately it was an economic war that ultimately Germany lost. The United States and the Western powers won. And then, of course, the German currency collapsed. But interestingly enough, one might argue that a guy like Adolf Hitler was sort of just injected into the vacuum following the ultimate collapse of that sort of, Bismarck kind of German empire. Anyway, that's here nor there. Point of the matter here is that I think that there's a lot of similarities going on right now with what did the world look like 80 years ago. What are you saying there? Fiesta! What are you saying? Considering... Oh boy, what is this? I always love these comments because I have no idea whether this is an insult or a compliment, but halfway through it I'll go, oh, that's not very nice, or oh, thank you for the compliment. So here we go. Let's see what this guy says. Here we go. Why does professional trader Brian Beamish have 5K YouTube subs when some pimple-faced kid who only got into crypto last year gets tens or hundreds of thousands? Who knows? You know why? Because I'm terrible at marketing myself. We had this one site member, and I love a mustache guy. You know who I'm talking about, all the site members. And he goes, if I was Brian Beamish, I would shill the shit out of this place. There would be you would hear about the Brian Beamish dancers. Dun, 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 dun. You know they're coming. You know, they say society moves in these 40-year cycles. I used to have a guy who I worked with who said, you want to know what to invest in? Just look back 40 years and whatever they were hot in then, that's what's probably going to be hot now. And Beanie Babies, I suppose they were all the rage. So I guess cryptocurrencies and NFTs and all that there might be a similarity to that. But in the late 70s, early 80s, it was all about the solid gold dancers. I don't know whether you guys remember that. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody dance now. Anyway, actually that was a little bit later, wasn't it? Anyway. So I think if you're going to look at the historical comparison and context, I actually think we have to look through the sort of 1940s. That's where I think we are now. And I think, you know, from the money masters perspective and all that kind of stuff, it makes a lot of sense. It makes absolute perfect sense. Because if you think about it, I mean, just everybody just use your brains here. I mean, it's shocking if you just think about this. So if these money cycles move in 80 years in duration, and of course my thesis all along, the fear-greed cycle, is 35 years in duration. So that's pretty close. But if that money cycle moves in 80-year duration, what was the world looking like in, what is it? It's 2021. Is it pretty chaotic out there right now? I think so. It's not like there's a solid trend one way or the other. I could very easily see that this COVID is not under control. You see what's going on in India right now. And I was even reading that they're talking about new strains that are resilient to all the vaccines that have been done because what the hell? The 1%'s plan is to keep the Fakazi going. Not the Fakazi, the Insani, we'll call it. Keep the Insani going for another year or two. That wouldn't surprise me. So I don't, you know, just like 80 years ago, what was the world like 1941? Was there really any clear direction in 1941? You know, you might argue the virus in 1941 was Adolf Hitler. Was there any clear direction? Was Adolf contained by 1941? He was still kind of on the loose, eh? And actually the apex of that crisis was 1942. And ultimately his demise in the outskirts of Moscow. So I don't think we're through the worst of this yet, people. Just be aware of that, okay? I know a lot of people, especially with the way the stock market's acting and all that kind of stuff, just be aware that a lot of people in the public are sort of almost assuming victory here. I don't see any reason why we should be assuming that anything's done with any of this crap yet. So, you know, there's that. The interesting thing about this image is that this is an image based in a world where they weren't allowed to fuck with the currency. And unfortunately, this go around, people, I hate to say it, man, they have just completely fucked with the US dollar. And not necessarily the US dollar alone, because keep in mind, it's every one of these goddamn central banks. They're all acting in unison here. So, ironically enough, you know, in the 1920s, you had just one currency because, of course, they were all at odds with each other. That was sort of singled out, and they destroyed the German mark. And, of course, you know, analogies of wheelbarrows of money and all that kind of stuff. But they're all in cahoots together. Everybody's in cahoots together. So I don't know whether it's going to be just a run on one currency or it's just going to be they're all going to be losing value simultaneously. And ironically enough, things like the US dollar index and stuff like that that we follow, they're all just going to bump along in channels, right? Euro's going to go up a little bit, Euro's going to go down a little bit, British pound's going to go up a little bit, British pound's going to go down a little bit, Canadian dollar's going to go up a little bit, blah, 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 blah. But they're all in cahoots together, right? What you have to be really, really worried about is the sort of third world people outside of that fiat currency system. Those people you have to be really fearful for. And in a weird sort of way, it's kind of like I think that the people that are in the fiat currency system are also within the sort of vaccine system. So, outside of the vaccine system, again, kind of analogies to India. India's kind of like sort of said, fuck you to the whole world. We're our own. And they're kind of out on an island right now. Be interesting to look at the Indian rupee and see how its currency is doing. What I do find fascinating about all this is why, the Chinese currency still technically is pegged to the US dollar. I mean, if the U.S. and the Chinese were at as odds as sort of some people in our society would have you believe, which I don't think. I think they're actually very much in bed together. But if they were at odds with each other, you would think that the Chinese would be like, well, we're not going to use your stinking currency. But I don't see any change to that peg. So, like, what the fuck? So if all of the currencies are all sort of moving in unison and they're all being depreciated in unison, is there something that maybe might act like the German D-Mark, but in the opposite? It will go up as all of these fiat currencies collapse, but you won't see it because, you look at your exchange rates and they're going to go, well, 1.15 euro to the US dollar. That's not really much of a movement here. Is there anything? Let's see if anybody on the YouTube audience can kind of figure out where the hell I'm going with this. Yeah, well, I don't know about that Chinese digital currency. I was listening to Mr. Powell the other day, and I think he let slip something that he shouldn't have. I think afterward people are going to go, you really shouldn't have said that. You know what you have to understand about China, which is really scary, is China spends as much money now on internal police as they do on their external police or their military. Could you imagine, all you Americans, if you lived in a country where the United States of America and the FBI and the CIA and the NSA and the Homeland Security and all that were funded to the degree that the U.S. outward military is funded? I mean, you'd have fucking guns pointed at you just walking down the street. Lasers. So the irony of China is they have as much problem just keeping the whole fucking shit show together going from the inside as they do from people coming from the outside. And I think people in the West don't understand that. And in a weird sort of way, China's almost like a whole world unto itself. Hell, the Chinese, they said the hell with the rest of the world. We don't give a fuck about you. Right? In fact, I remember back in the 90s, there was Michael Palin. He did a trip through China. And there were parts of China where he visited where they had never even seen a Caucasian person before. And just seeing him, they were like, whoa, check that freak out. They'd never even seen. No TVs, no magazines, nothing. They had never even seen a white person before. So, anyway, it's just it's an interesting analogy of this crazy thing called China. I think that the totalitarian dictatorship, they're trying to hold on to power as best as they can. and they spend a lot of money. And I think Mr. Powell sees the Chinese currency, this digital currency, as yet another sort of internal way to try and control their populace. And that's the interesting thing with the West. I mean, this is going to be a horribly politically incorrect thing to say, but frankly speaking, I can see why the West 200, 300, 400 years ago would look at the Eastern society and call it heathens, call them barbarians. Because frankly speaking, they don't look after each other the same way as our Judeo-Christian society. The way that we actually, like idiots like me. Do you think that there are any people in the Chinese society that would think that a guy, what I'm doing here, I come on and I talk to you guys for a couple hours every weekend. I don't ask for a penny back. It's just my free time. Why am I doing this? This is completely counter to the entire sort of capitalist mantra. I'm giving you my time for free. Why? Because this is the way I sort of feel like I'm giving back to the universe. No charge. You can listen if you want. No guarantees from the management, but every once in a while, I know, like I said, and I get little notes from him. He's got such a funny name. It's like GR872846 or whatever. But he's dropping me notes every once in a while, because every once in a while I'll mention him that, if you're very proactive and you take good notes and you really work at this, you can write a whole damn manual on how to get rich trading just off of watching these free videos. No charge. That kind of thinking does not go over very well in other parts of the world. Why would I think this way? Well, no offense. And like I said, it's probably going to piss a lot of people off. But I think that there's a higher calling for us. We really want to try and make a positive difference in this world. And I hate how, like in the Chinese culture, if you are taken advantage of, you are actually considered the idiot. And the guy who took advantage of you should be congratulated. I absolutely hate that about the Chinese culture. Absolutely hate that. And I would love to hear a bunch of Chinese people from mainland China come out and say, Brian, you're wrong. That's not how we think. That we're actually looking out for each other, that we like to look out for each other, that it is part of our culture to what's the man say, walk a mile in their shoes before you judge them, and that kind of shit. I don't want to get all fucking over the top biblical and shit here, but I really wish us in the West would actually stand up for the rights and stuff that people fought and died for in previous generations, because these rights and these privileges, they are so valuable, and if we don't watch out, they're going to be taken away from us, and once they're gone, they're gone. Anyway. All right, rant. Wow, how did I get off on that? Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I believe somebody said here, well, China and the United States did a deal with the devil to buy their bonds for slave labor. Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm not saying that we are above reproach. And frankly speaking, like we were joking in the lounge this morning about politicians. I mean, the sad part about it is, the Western democratic sort of money machine, political machine, it sets our entire society up for failure. Probably the best thing that could happen for our society is if they could just somehow take the money out of politics. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. We got to figure some way of doing that. But you take the money out of politics, and then I think we can get back to living sort of generally, back to, I don't know what that even means. I don't know whether, I think probably we're just an evolving story. We keep evolving. Like 300 years ago, if I had tried to have this conversation about the fact that there's a certain portion of our Western society that takes advantage of another portion of our society, they might have had me executed very quickly. So just, and really, you might even argue just a couple 100 years ago, they tried very desperately to get the banks out of the system, and people lost their lives. People got assassinated, very high figure politicians. We were kind of joking this morning, and really I think it's a good analogy of the human species, that, as Bitcoin's running up here, and that was my question to you. Hey, somebody actually wrote down Bitcoin. I think you wrote down. We were talking about BitConnect and how it feels like we're heading back into that kind of environment and stuff in the lounge. I think we are. So understand. In fact, now I remember. What does Brian like to do in his free time? Usually I like to just sit on social media and yell. I got anything better to do with my life. So I was sitting, and this guy here, for the record, I think he is a very left-leaning comedian, left-leaning. He's been his whole life. I've watched him his whole life. Keep in mind, I'm like basically his age. So, I mean, I've watched him since he was a very young man all the way, to now he's like an elder gentleman, right? And he's been sort of a mouthpiece of the left. And I don't think that should surprise anybody. But it's just interesting that this is sort of the basic sort of public view of crypto. And of course, Brian, gotta be a smart ass and all that kind of stuff. I listened to it, and in a very critical way, I broke down his arguments. Ironically enough, is he a puppet of sort of some people that reply go, well, he's just a puppet, he's told what to say. I don't know whether he is or he isn't. I think that any given point in time, you're always going to have sort of contradictory arguments in any space. There's always going to be the guys who are for something and the guys that are against. If anything, the fact that we live in a democracy is great because we get to vote and the majority rules, and that's just the way our society goes. And there are going to be people at any given point in time that are going to be pissed off one way or the other, right? How does the saying go? You can please all of the people some of the time. You can please some of the people all of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. It's impossible. So what I'm worried about here, though, is I definitely believe that crypto is a tradable asset, and because it's in this unregulated space, those people that, it's not your keys, it's not your coins, you're going to take personal ownership of the asset, you are going to become your own banker. Love it. And that's the beautiful part about crypto, is it's so empowering that way. Do yourself a favor, figure out how these cold storage wallets work. Maybe you're going to 2FA your accounts with a disconnected 2FA system, whatever it is. You want to take personal ownership of crypto and take personal ownership of your banking and your money and your future. Love it. And I think to a certain degree, that's really what the crypto space is all about. And for those people, rock on. Unfortunately, I think there's a huge part, and especially when it gets into sort of the public mainstream, there's a huge part of this base that simply wants to see more dollars in their bank account, or more dollars even on their cryptocurrency exchange statement at the end of the day, i.e. they just want a capital gain. They want to buy something and they want to sell it to somebody else at a higher price and go buy their Lambos. And the irony of it all is, maybe you don't even use fiat. You actually use the cryptocurrency to buy the Lambo. Okay, fine. Just the fact that the value of the asset that you bought has appreciated so much, you're fucking rich, man. Right? I mean, that's what they want. I would say, I hate to say it, but I think probably a good 95% of the people that come into this space, that is the brutal reality of all of this. So what really this boils down to then is if you're in this for the technology, then you should appreciate that we are not really trading at value levels anymore. And if you are investing, in good quality at the bottom, lower risk, that's not this environment anymore. That was a year or two ago. In fact, I was looking at the Ethereum chart, and it's kind of funny because there was a guy who took our education courses. I think he bought into the whole idea. I really didn't like the fact that he was really promoting buying more and more and more as we move up. I mean, he's probably going to become legendary in his own right. But here's the kick in the pants is that he and I did a video together right here. I mean, this was the time. This is Ethereum, right? This was the time right down in here when it starts Wing. This was the time to be investing. It's just that simple, people. It's not really rocket science. So, I mean, there's the end result. Like, woohoo! But you're listening to people now in the public talking about coming in and thinking about buying and investing in cryptocurrencies. Do they really know what they're getting involved in here? I mean, I appreciate that basically my conversation has been one directional the whole way along here. I've been like, it's too late to invest, it's too late to invest, it's too late to invest. Price keeps moving higher, so I'm not going to argue that. I mean, it's incredible to see. But what I am going to say is, based on everything that we teach people, based on everything that I've sort of done over my past 30 years, you got to be buying when the public's not interested. Then when the public is interested, you start going into sort of spoon feeding mode. You don't have to sell everything. In fact, there's some coins that I have. In fact, actually, I've got an account over on Trex that was just, banging out doubles the whole damn way up. And I didn't do anything through this whole period. And now that account's back up. If I include the money that I took out of it, the value of that Trex account is back up about 600,000 US now. So it's basically back up flirting with those old highs. Just because all I did was I loaded up when all the crypto was here. And through this period, I just didn't do much. Reloaded on a bunch of names, over the past couple of years. This is sort of the fun that I've been having. Just reloaded on most of these names down here. And actually, most of them have produced doubles. I think there's a few that are still underwater. And I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this year. Most of these are all going to be doing this crazy V-tops, total parabolic moves. In fact, kind of fun, the other day, I did sort of a fun challenge with the site. Is I took the bottom 25 coins on my Trex poop list, bing bong, and these coins, they're the free positions, whatever was left over after all the dust settled following the last meltdown. I just looked at them. These are the survivors, right? Because keep in mind, Trex culled just a shitload of coins, eh? And they might even cull more. Some of these they might even cull. But I just said for fun, why don't we do something fun? Let's go and throw like 0.001 Bitcoin at these things, right? And let's just see what happens. I mean, that's a pretty diverse basket. It's all of the shit, absolute bottom of the barrel. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of these things are actually trading at new highs by the end of this year. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Now, these are monthly charts, so you can't come in and chase monthlies, especially like some of these actually have already produced doubles, so you can't come in and just blindly buy them because they've already taken off. But so I guess I had on one of the Dutch coins. Oh, yeah, there it is, this Dutch coin. It took off here recently. So I stepped in on this bad boy down here. I already got a double off, so I can't do anything there. But if he pulls back against the original W, I'll step in and buy. I don't mind that. But this is kind of the fun that we're doing on the site right now is, sort of what's Brian going to be doing for fun over the next 6 months or so. I got this fun little challenge, and anybody who wants to join me are more than welcome on the site. It's not really like this is really, over the top professional. there's the list. Here's my order. Some bids have been filled. Some, the bold ones, some bids are working. Already got off double on one. And I just want to see by the end of this calendar year. Number one, if we do get filled on these, can we get doubles and get our original Bitcoin back and generate free positions in all of these? And then number two, let's see how many doubles we can actually produce, because some of these, it's hilarious to watch. They're just like boom, 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 boom. I know, I find it hilarious. Like Lisk, man, Lisk was all the rage last cycle. I don't know why that one's down there. But, you know, they're just the bottom 25 on the list. MUE, man, I remember everybody was absolutely in love with that one last cycle. So, who knows? Just some fun. Just kicking around, you know. I'm going to leave this sort of, this is a good quality crypto name to the people who actually know crypto. And so, for example, Sjord, our right-hand man at TRI CTO, he's pretty damn good at identifying value names and fundamentally good ideas, and he got us to load up on this thing down here. I mean, look at that crazy-ass trade. Scored you. You're insane, man. I mean, if you look at that on a regular scale, look at that, eh? I mean, that's just nuts. So we're all, and he's already sold halves on doubles and stuff, so we already got free positions. Huge cash generated by these ideas. And if there was going to be any sort of fundamentally sound ideas to like actually park some serious money into, I'm going to wait for Sjord to tell me what he thinks is a good fundamental name in this space. As for me, like I said, I've got a fun little play account. Somebody actually warned me the other day, shouldn't be showing your Trex page there up on these videos, Brian. So I'm not going to do that anymore. But I've got, like I said, this sheet here. If we get any kind of spring pullback in crypto and these things calm down here a bit, I might do a bit of buying in some of these. And then I think, as I said there a few minutes ago, there's a bunch of stuff that I have been buying over the past year or two. A lot of these have already doubled, so I'm just sort of sitting there on free. And, of course, we got fun little names. Like, right now, I find it hilarious. I mean, this silly Doge is, right now, it's, I mean, I hats off to the guys who actually became millionaires on Doge. I mean, fuck, you must have had a lot of coins. I still have about 250,000 left or so on this thing. So I do find it amusing that at this level here, it's worth about 100 G's, which is laughable. I've already taken, just off of this trade alone, I've already taken out, I don't know, about 20 or 30 or 40,000 US. But that last sort of batch, from what I understand, Mr. Wonderful is going to go on Saturday Night Live, which to me makes absolute perfect sense that we use that as sort of a buy the rumor kind of pump. And if we're really lucky and he really, the presentation goes off well and the shill's all awesome and shilly, if we're really lucky, maybe we can stab our way up top here and Brian will be selling off his big bag. I always said that I wanted to be able to buy a house for Liam with the remaining stake, and I think I could buy a pretty half decent house for Liam for, he does have an income, a special needs income, so we can maybe justify floating maybe a 50% mortgage or something and just have his income pay the mortgage. So, I don't know. I guess up here this will be worth, a couple $100,000 or so. So, that's US. So, bring it back to Canada. That might be 50% of the cost of a house. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get too much out of this. Don't think I'll be able to get $1 million. Like I said, I'm surprised. I mean, geez, anybody who took $1 million out of that Doge, man, you must have had a lot of coins. Because I had a hell of a lot. But wasn't able to clear $1 million out of this thing. I wonder where I have that. Do I have it over here? Yeah, here it is. So I did paint some upside targets. I mean, this is just sort of absolute insane levels. Yeah, here's some foggies. So, I mean, I suppose if he breaks it out, probably the next stop there's 76, and then I think it was that 114, 150 area. So I still got a long way to go on fiat before I'm going to be selling. But yeah, so that makes sense because that's 5x, so that'd be $500,000 US. That should be enough to buy Liam his house. So I'm not going to be probably selling too much here. I might let some more of these little, this little trade I did, I might let some more of that go at banging out a double. This is a very small trade. It's like 5, 10 G's a piece. I might do that on this, you know, this public event coming up here. I don't know exactly when this Saturday Night Live thing is, but I'm seeing lots of chatter. So my hunch is they're going to pump this thing into that event. Maybe if they can blow it off all the way up top here and just get some fucking over-the-top insane orgy going, I'll be letting them have it here at $1.50. And that's 1,000,000 miles away. So, all right, blah, 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 blah. I was supposed to be actually taking your guys' questions here, so I'm sorry. I'm just sort of ranting a bit. Sure went off on a lot of political nonsense there. Sorry, everybody, especially China lovers. You probably hate to hear me say that stuff. Okay, so Zoink says, just found Art BTC on Hitbit. Oh, Hitbit. Oh, God. Be careful over there. I mean, you know, what I would say is there's lots of money made on things like, you know, YoBit and all those kind of pumps and stuff. And I fully expect that kind of environment to come back. Totally expect that. So, this is a friendly part of the market. So if you're quick on your toes and you can trade over on sites like Hitbit and stuff, fully understand this is chill central, right? So don't get caught bag holding. You know how the game goes. If you're, you know, doing this kind of stuff, I mean, frankly speaking, I don't like the idea of coming in here. You're way late on this. But, you know, obviously the bottom is right off of that level there. And there's your Wyckoff check. So you're very, very late here. But, you know, if you wanted to maybe, you know, I wouldn't chase. That's usually not a good idea. And, of course, the good old Brian's going to be doing his reload zones and all that kind of fun stuff. Tails. Look at these juicy tails in here. So there's your buy level. So can't chase. You know, and that looks like a lot of these kind of things. I can't chase any of this shit. The only one that actually I was able to buy recently was I bought a little bit, I think, of this SRN. Because it had come back down. So that's something I could come in on. And of course, where can I get my double on that? Yeah, pretty easy to get doubles on these. But who knows? I mean, fuck, these things are such crap. It might be delisted tomorrow by Trex. You just don't know. But see, something like that, I could come in looking for, you know, a nice bounce. And actually, ironically enough, you can see the Head and Shoulders top there. So if we went boom, that log, yeah. So this thing might actually even have to dip. Looks like it could dip down into here. But what are the odds between now and the end of the year that this thing has any kind of rally, especially with us heading into the, you know, ironically enough, this was 1718. It's fascinating how a lot of these sites, they just don't even show you the price action from before. Just so suspicious, man. This space is so corrupt. Let's see. Maybe one of these old ones can show me. Yeah, isn't that funny? I mean, maybe this thing just came out beginning of 2018. I can't remember. But usually they have a bit of price action before that. But anyway, who knows? Like I said, you know, got Brian buying shit, right? We call it the Shitcoin 5,000 challenge. So we're not making any, you know, fluffies about this. This is shit we're buying, okay? Simple as that. Just be aware. But anyway, so that's a good example where there's something I could come in and nibble off of that. Can't buy it when it's ramping up like that. I can buy it when it's down and it's crap. So most of these that I just said there a moment ago, most of these have actually jumped up quite a bit, so I can't buy. So I even told the people on the site, look, this is the Shitcoin 5,000 challenge, but I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of buying for the next little while. I got to wait for this stuff to all come back down to earth. So, anyway, food for thought. And if that happens over the May-June time period, totally fine by me. If anything, seasonally, that would make perfect sense. And actually, I do like that thinking because, of course, we got this big U.S. tax deadline coming up here, the 15th. And I love this kind of analysis. But this is, this is Brian, old school, stockbroker, running his book of business. Probably, the 1% guy that you absolutely hate, right? I get my institutional letters, right? Now, what are the smart money buying, the insiders buying? Where's the new issues? All that kind of shit, right? These guys were basically the authority. They were as much of anything prior to the dot-com boom, and it was really cool watching John Murphy come in and just basically transfer his entire stock sort of manual, get your charts in the mail kind of thing onto the online world. He was probably one of the few guys from the old world that was actually able to make the transition into the digital age fairly seamlessly. But you guys have probably heard of Larry Williams, right? So that's his presentation. He uses stockcharts.com as his sort of marketing platform. And I have to say, it's succinct, it's to the point, nailed it. It's just you want to look at how a professional looks at the market, watch this video. In fact, this video is about 20, 30 minutes, and there's a little bit of time in there. I'll even share it with you here in the public YouTube channel. He sums up everything that it takes me about 2 or 3 hours to blab out. He sums up very, very well here. And the very simple message, I think, coming out of this video, and, Larry's he said he started in 1962. So I started, I would say, in earnest, let's say 1992. So he's got 30 years on me. Maybe by time, give me another 30 years to do these free YouTube videos. Maybe in 30 years' time, I'll get to the point where I'm as slick as he is. But just very perfect, very well said. And the simple message is, it doesn't, if you look at the stock market, it's pretty simple. It's the same thing I tell you guys every week. I mean, nothing really changes here. Let's just do one. The old analogy goes, buy when it snows. So actually, this is interesting how that was March. Last year. And then this one, there wasn't even really much of a dip. That was it. All right, March. Anyway, so buy when it snows, sell when it goes into the spring. Then let it market consolidate a bit. Buy when it snows, sell when it goes. Probably not a very good chart to show you there. March, April. There were probably a lot of pros that came in through here, and they were kind of like, oh, shit, man, this is a lot worse than expected. And it wouldn't even surprise me if probably one of the reasons why the Fed had to act so hard so fast is because Wall Street probably was loading up through here. Buy when it snows. This is probably the bottom that Wall Street put in the market. And we went through there. Wall Street went, oh, fuck, we're in trouble. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I've even told you guys before, like the Bitcoin price, the way it broke all the way down to 3,000. I don't think that everybody actually was even anticipating that. I think it was an absolute gift, and anybody who was able to take advantage of it, COVID literally gave you a gift. Whether you were able to take advantage or not, that's up to you. So anyway, long and short of it here, April, even here, April, we had to go through this. Actually, it really wasn't much of one. I suppose maybe that was... Actually, I beg your pardon, March, April, June. Here we are. So there's June, July. So there's probably that seasonal sort of correction time period there. I don't know if it has to be this volatile. If it is, what is that? That's 321 down to under 300. So that's 20 points. That's about 10%. So we're at 417. Could we come back down to 360 here through this kind of seasonal window? Sure, why not? But what was interesting about Larry's summary, and frankly I have to agree with it, was that the fundamental backdrop, Fed basically saying, you got all the free money you want more free money, here you go, here's more free money. The president going, we want to ramp up spending. We want to ramp up spending. We want to ramp up spending. Stimulate, 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 stimulate. And ironically enough, last March, Mr. Powell even said that the corporate balance sheet was looking really bad, but the consumer balance sheet was okay. So now what's happened is, of course, consumers went out and loaded up on a whole bunch of mortgages, and they spent a ton of money over the past year. But the corporations, actually, Mr. Powell's been saying, their balance sheet's looking a lot better. They took advantage of the discount in prices there, wherever the hell that chart was. Where did I have that? Over here. They took advantage of this discounting, and when the Fed came in, all the emergency lending and shit, and a lot of corporations actually cleaned up their balance sheets and just simply rolled over the debt. So, the U.S. pretty much has passed recent stimulus package. I think it's agreed upon that the unemployment claims, forbearance, all that kind of shit, it's been put off till September now, I think it is. So I don't see any reason for this fundamental backdrop to change until we get into that sort of next funding window when the unemployment, whatever you want to call it, stimmy, when that funding runs out. I do understand that the legislation has to be, I think the Congress was expecting to pass it into the July 4th weekend. So that makes perfect sense to me. If we look at just even some price charts here, just in the short term. I like the idea that, first and foremost, these markets, sure, they've come an awful long way. 50% rules. If we use the Dow, for example. When was the last major pivot? Looks like it was there, right? So if we were using the Dow, 31,000. Here we are at, 33, 34,000. So there's your 5-10%, somewhere in that area. No real sell signal here just yet, but damn, that's a hell of a lot of M's. So long and short of it here, I think we can take pretty simple confidence. If we start losing and printing below this level here, then the tone of the market has changed to the bear, and down we go. I'm not saying the bull's done just yet. We might still pop up even higher. Could but totally be. This might turn into some sort of bot setup where 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. So I could definitely see that if we tick back up through these highs, we're going to start spitting out buy signals. But as it stands right now, I think we're just trapped in a narrow sideways channel. Why? Well, we've been hearing a lot of people talking about how there's, in Canada, we just had a tax deadline for us. Who cares? Canada's a small fish. But in the U.S., their tax deadline is the middle of May. It was actually put off by a couple weeks. So I do like the idea that there is going to be downside sell pressure just simply to pay that tax bill. That doesn't surprise me. And I think that's half the reason why they bid the market up, is that so people did actually have the ability to sell stuff at a profit and pay your goddamn taxes. So that's sort of what I'm thinking here. Did find it interesting, like I had said earlier, I was listening to the Berkshire Hathaway conference. Actually, I guess it was, I don't know what the hell it was, some Yahoo conference with some media chick where it was so funny listening to these two guys. You know what they reminded me of? They totally reminded me of, I don't know where I put it. Put it over here? No. I guess it was over here. These two reminded me of? They reminded me of, the Muppets? I can't remember what those guys' names are. They sit up in the cheap seats of the little theater there, and they just heckle them, and they're the two old guys. That's totally what these two reminded me of. And they're kind of fumbling over their words and stuff like that. Stadler and Waldorf. All right, thank you. And yet the irony of it all is that they own probably like 10% of the United States of America. So the more things change, the more they stay exactly the same. Anyway, I did find it interesting that Stadler did say that he was seeing substantial price increases in things like raw materials, and Berkshire was doing nothing more than just passing it straight on to the customer, which is exactly what's going to happen. That's every socialist, and if you know a socialist, you have to get this message home to them. That if you raise taxes, if you raise fees, companies aren't going to just sit there and do nothing. And this is what I don't understand about socialists, is they just think for some silly reason, oh, you go and soak the rich, and the rich are just going to say, you know what, you're right. I should just give you my money. I mean, come on, we're humans. There's somebody that... one of you guys in, or one of the popular people in this space says people only act in their best interest or something like that. I can't remember how it goes. So you go and raise taxes. What's capital going to do? Capital's either going to find ways to avoid taxes, and we notice that these SPACs are going crazy here. What a surprise. People are trying to figure out ways to leverage the market. And it's interesting because even these guys were complaining about the SPACs. The SPACs are going and stealing up all the deals that they would have bought for a song and a dance. But it turns out that the hedge fund people see the same thing that these guys would see. They would go and invest in the company. And they going and buying up these cheap assets and throwing them in these SPACs and then running the price of the SPAC up very quickly. It's almost funny. These guys are bitter, and also too, I think he's also bitter too, because I think I had it on the screen there a moment ago. It's almost funny that I sent a reply out to a guy about this. That these guys, and this is very atypical of Buffett, because Buffett doesn't really like to invest in gold. So about a year or two ago, I remember, and I found it very odd that, and the headline was, Buffett protege or assistant Munger went heavy into Barrick. And I remember when the news article came out, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I publicly was like, that's a stupid move, and man, they are going to pay for that. And ironically enough, I think half of the reason why Munger hates crypto and Bitcoin so much is because basically Bitcoin has stolen all of his buyers. And he's losing money. And if it's one thing that, Stadler and Waldorf don't like, when they get bitchy and they get crotchety, you can imagine the old man losing money. They don't like losing money. So they get all bitter. So I thought that was really funny. And in a weird sort of way, I think it's a great commentary that even these, like people look at Munger and go, oh, he must know. He must be smart. He must be, he must know more than me. Why doesn't he like Bitcoin? Well, he doesn't like Bitcoin because, like I said, Bitcoin's stealing his lunch. And this motherfucker's a capitalist and he wants to make money from trading. And if you don't make money from trading, get the fuck out of my firm. I'm here to make money from trading. So the public right now is making him lose money from trading. And so he's embarrassed. And every time, smart-ass Twitter people come out and go, hey, how's your gold investing doing, Charlie, you cocksucker? He doesn't like that. So that's really probably half of his motivation, is that he's just being made to look like a fool in the market. Anyway, that's my thoughts there. So don't get, it's not like he's smarter than anybody else. This is all money. It's all fucking money and ego. That's what it all comes down to. Hey, Kavark, are you here? Kavark, Kevin, are you here? Kavark, is there a Kavark in the house? No, I guess he's not here. Kevin, nope, no Kevin. Oh, well. Yeah, so, yeah, just to remind anybody sort of watching halfway through, if you just joined, this is going to be a raffle just for the people that watch this video today and overnight. We're just going to do a quick 24-hour Flash Raffle. And we're going to announce the winner for the seat. So if you are interested in joining the schools, we do have a new school term coming up. And if you want to be in the raffle, you got 24 hours. So you better get your ass in there. And the link is in the description on the video page. And I'll even tweet this out here just so you're aware. Whoa, look at that. What a mess. Oh, that's not what I wanted. How the hell do I do that? Oh, damn. I love this interneting. I know I have that page up here somewhere. Just give me a second. Yeah. I've got the link right here, but when you copy it, so I'll just... And if I copy it out of there, thank you, David. I appreciate it. Okay, let's try that again. Let's see what happens. Boom. There we go. All right, so I'll put that on there. So if you want to be in the raffle, we're going to announce the winner tomorrow. So get your butt in there. Anyway, lots of fun. And it's interesting, too, because you can see the price momentum. It looks like this son of a bitch is... I mean, it's going through its parabolic phase, but it looks like it's heading higher. So it'd be interesting to see the Berkshire effect on crypto tomorrow. See whether the bitter old men can stop the bull. Frankly speaking, I don't think they can. But I do believe that the risk market is a bit heavy here heading into this tax deadline. It could be vulnerable. So as a result, I don't know whether it's necessarily in where I was going with all that. If you watch that Larry Williams video, I think his general message, and it would be my message too. Of course, I don't know where the hell I put it. Where did I put that? Is it over here? No. Somewhere around here. Is it over here? No. Nope. This guy sure seems to be knocking the cover off the ball. I think he's like loaded up to the tits on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Isn't it interesting? Buffett made this reference. Let's see if anybody on the site can figure this out. He said that he sees a St. Petersburg paradox developing in the markets right now. So we should probably talk more about this on the Daily Brief tomorrow. I want to figure out what the hell that St. Petersburg paradox is. Okay, let's see. What else should we blab about here today? I suppose we should talk a little corn. You know, okay, interestingly enough, considering the sentiment in the public space, but I guess it has more to do with Ethereum and the shitcoins than it really has to do with Bitcoin. You know, this is April 30th, so this is, what is that? That's basically 2-3 days ago. General sentiment was looking for sort of a retest of reload short zones. And I think this high to low to high, that looks like a pretty darn important level. You can see it was also respected there. So I was kind of thinking, and notice how that comes in against Mountain Man here. I was kind of thinking there should be some sort of resistance up here. This kind of looks like A, B, C, D. So maybe in the coming week we could push our way up into here. But if we get any sort of M-type action up in here and then failure back below this line, look out. So that's in the backdrop of Bitcoin had this rising wedge working. And then, you know, and there's one reason why I really like using price momentum oscillators is this sort of this first M here. At this point here, which is, actually a few months ago now, market's kind of saying, you know what, maybe just cool your jets. And I got to say, that's been pretty spot on. We sort of went through this whole gyration a little bit lower, inside bar fail, then, oh no, maybe we're going to break out higher. Little pop up to new highs, but the RSI index didn't even really do anything through that. And I was tweeting all through this. What the hell is this damn thing going to do? Is it going to W out, which would mean, we said we had the bulls on pause because of this big M. If we went W'd out, well, then the bears would be on pause and would probably be back on the buy side. But you can see that just never came in. Were we going to M out here? Now, because we are above the 50 line here on RSI, and this is a deal. Actually, this is a weekly price chart too, so that's good. It does mean that the trend itself is still up, right? And what we teach in our education programs, one of the simplest ways you can understand and use these price oscillators is just simply ask, is the indicator above the 50 line or below the 50 line? And where have the recent M's and W's happened? So our rule at TRI, well, maybe just, I haven't really put this in a formal education module. I probably should get off my ass and do some more work. But the rule is that if we get the second M, remember the first M stops if this is a bull, right? The first M stops the bull. If we get a second M that comes in and it goes through that 50 line, that is a holy shit, look out signal. But that's not the case here. The second M comes in through about 70. So I would call this a weak sell signal. It's a sell signal, don't get me wrong, but it's a weak one. And sure enough, you can see just even off of the break, just right out of the gate, we dead cat bounced. To me, this kind of looks like almost like it's not quite railroad tracks, but it's, I would call this like a big, call it trading range. That tail right there is the bottom end of the range. Whatever this wick peak is, that's the top end of range. Probably bang around in that. Yeah, we could go and start Wing out. If we W, then that stops the bear. And that makes sense because remember this was a weak sell signal, so we didn't really get a hell of a lot out of this. If we go and M out a third time, then what that says to me is unfortunately that's the noob trap. And I like to color the first M is teal, the second M is yellow, and then the third M, if it does come in, I color that purple. And unfortunately, that's where the public usually comes in, and they're usually late, and they're wrong, and they get screwed. And it'd be interesting because that M would take us down into that 50 line, and then we find out, okay, is this down move really for real, or is it just, to try and shake out the weak hands? I also like that third M kind of thinking. We've got big U.S. tax deadline coming up on the 15th. I showed you what's going on in the U.S. stock market. It looks heavy. And the message out of Mr. Williams was any kind of pullbacks through this sort of May, June time period, which are very seasonal, very normal. How does the expression go? Let's see if any of you on YouTube know this. Sell in May and something, something, something. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock. David saying everybody should sign up for that free account, the 30-day trial. So if you're watching this, there's about 80, 90 people over there on YouTube. You should just pop on that 30-day trial, David's saying, and be on the daily brief call tomorrow. You want them on there? David, for whatever it's worth, he's sort of our marketing quarterback. So whatever he tells me to say, I bark like a dog. David, what language do you want me to speak now? Yo quiero Taco Bell? Okay, I've just alienated about a third of the world, our market. Sorry, terrible. All right, let's see. Anybody selling, man? Walk away. Very good. Golden Burks. Good Zoinks. Good Adam. Good D-Barn. Good Usto. Where's my G8473652 guy? He probably will have that written in his notes about 20 times. Anyway, and Sedona. Sedona, cool name. Sedona. Sedona Euphoria. Wow, what a cool name. Actually, I heard one name that I'm interested in right now. I heard John Oliver. I tweeted out oh, this name's fake? That's too bad. That'd be cool. I want to name my kid that. Sedona Euphoria. I love that. That'd be awesome. I tell you what, if Doge goes to $2, I will legally change my name to Sedona Euphoria. And I get a fill. The more important thing is I have to be filled at $2. Because that would be that'd be $500,000 US. I think we could buy a house for Liam with $500,000 US. Couldn't we? Jesus, you think we? In fact, I saw we could become landed gentry down in the state of Georgia right now. I saw this old. I think it was built in 1805 or something like that. This old yeah, did you guys see that? Man, that place is cool. So, tell you what, on the day Saturday Night Live, if they ramp that thing up to $2 and I hit the bid and we go and become landed gentry in the good state of Georgia, I will change my name officially to Sedona Euphoria. I love it. That's such a cool name. Let's see. What are you saying there? Goldenberg says, Brian, your thought on fact that MC McDonald's in Florida is paying $50 for people just to show up for interview, and they cannot get people to show up. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if you have stimmy checks, right? I mean, everybody basically is on welfare right now, right? And you want to work at McDonald's? And I mean that remember that guy that, oh my goodness, oh my damn. I mean, he bought like a burger and a bottle of water, and the bill came to $26. So what you're really saying is McDonald's is willing to buy you 2 lunches to come out to an interview. I don't know. Okay, fine, I guess. Those old houses require a ton of maintenance. Better bring a contractor with you. Yeah, totally, eh? It would be fun. What I would do is I just go buy it and I would turn it into like a museum and sort of like maybe use that because it comes with like 50 acres or something like that. So like maybe make a corn museum, a corn maze and just fun stuff, right? Just make it enjoyable for the community. That would be what I would want to do with it. Anyway. Okay, so back to our story. I don't know how the hell I got off on that tangent. I'm getting the impression that probably a lot of this market is just... there's a huge build-up into that massive Wall Street event, right? So it's kind of like... I don't necessarily think that Bitcoin's bad. It's just that, man, one hell of a move. Straight line, and it just needed to sort of balance itself out. And you might even argue something like a price momentum oscillator. Ideally, we want to hunt W's. I mean, look at this fucking W right in here, eh? I mean, this is what you want to see out of these things if you're thinking bullishly. If you're seeing M's, especially what we got there a week or two ago, it doesn't necessarily mean that this thing's going straight down, but it does mean that, hey, you know what, if you're a bull, just cool your jets. There's no hurry here. And, interestingly enough, I don't think Bitcoin's the story right now. The story, I think, for this summer, I think it's all going to be around fucking DeFi. Which, Bitcoin's kind of, that's sort of it's not really like Bitcoin's bad. It's just Bitcoin's been bid up. I mean, it's expensive. You know, Ethereum and this whole sort of idea of NFTs and this computer of the world. What I found fascinating recently was, you know, us in the public, we're kind of like, you know, I got to pay $50 for a transaction, or, you know, even $100 or a few $100s to get my deal done on the blockchain on Ethereum. I don't know if the fees scale. So if your idea is, you know, your smart contract is $100,000, is it the same price as if your deal was, you know, $1 billion? I have a funny feeling that the fees themselves, they're acceptable to something like a bond issuance, where it's in like maybe the billions of dollars. Oh, okay. Thanks, Colin. I was wondering if you. So AEON wasn't yours. It was AION. Okay. Sorry, forgot. Anyway, I asked a site member earlier about a coin, but it's a different one. Actually, probably the easiest way to look at this chart is look at it from a log scale. So there you go. Now you can understand that channel a little bit better. You know, people used to joke sort of tongue-in-cheek that there's no reason why Ethereum can't do exactly the same thing that Bitcoin did last cycle, which means that Ethereum goes to like 20 Gs. And actually, I seem to remember a few months ago, I was tweeting out charts of Ethereum and Bitcoin, like Bitcoin last cycle and Ethereum this cycle, and the similarities were absolutely shocking. I don't know how long ago that was. Problem is, it's so hard to fucking search Twitter. I remember I did. It was such a cool chart. It was just like one on top, one on below. Where the hell is it? This is only a week ago. Jesus. Man, this guy, he tweets too much. This guy. How's that song go? Homeboy, you talk too much. Homeboy, you never shut up. Still think that this is actually our environment. None of this has changed. Do you find it interesting? I do prefer this kind of market state here for the next 6 months out of things like Bitcoin. Well, all these other coins go absolutely apeshit and sort of play catch up. That's the kind of environment I think we're in. Catch up. For all the shit coins, they're sort of waking up. In fact, actually, I put out a funny comment about one video. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this one. So, I mean, gee whiz, those look so similar, eh? So, this is, I guess this is only Bitcoin breaking out to a couple grand there. Actually, it'd be interesting to correlate where we are on Ethereum price, because now we're at about 2,800, eh? We're about $1,000 higher. And then go look at what Bitcoin did way back when. See if there's any similarity there. How can we do that? Why don't we go? I'm sure I already have it saved, but what the hell, we'll do a new one. So BTC USD. Boom. And then we'll go compare. ETH USD. I'm going to do it on Coinbase. I don't know. And we'll go move to pane above. And we'll change this to candles. Okay. So, thesis is that we are now, I guess, somewhere in this. How am I going to do this? Regular. It's just crazy. It's so off the map, eh? Maybe we'll do that. Okay, so then let's go boo, and we'll go bar pattern. And maybe we'll go off that low, up to that high. And we'll copy that. And we'll go up here. And we'll paste that. There we go. Okay, so this corresponds. This could get pretty darn high. There we go. Something along those lines, eh? Jesus, look how close they are. Is this the point where Ethereum goes, man? I can't even get these damn numbers to line up. They're so big. Actually, you know what? Why don't we change that to a log? Maybe that'll help. There we go. Are you guys having fun, or am I just wasting everybody's time? I hope you guys are having fun here. Okay, so there. I guess something along those lines, eh? Looks similar. There. I don't know whether we're coming to an end here or not. Anyway, that would, I guess, be pretty similar there. So, I wonder. Should probably try and make that high line up with that high. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, just having fun. We'll have fun, something like that. So, that looks pretty similar, right? Yeah, it's a little bit different there. Something along those lines. Can't really tell. Actually, I'm surprised at how similar that really is. It looks to me like we just went through this, right? Which means we probably have a move there, and then one more real big blast off here. Anyway, I was just talking on my butt. We'll see what happens. I'll keep that on the screen. Maybe that makes sense too, you know, because I do like the idea that somebody was saying recently that that pi study. Anybody of you guys following that pi study? That pi study was saying that this thing's probably you know, getting near an end of a move here. And I thought it was interesting because if you go back and look at that, oh, I thought I had it here. Where did I go? There it is. If you go back and look at this, oh no, it was off of the tweet. It's so silly, Brian. Oh no, where the hell is the damn tweet? Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. If you go back and look off of this study here, I don't have it handy. So if you happen to have it handy, great. But the pi study actually issued a sell signal in here as well. So I do kind of like, and you know, maybe with, I think Mr. Musk is coming up on Saturday Night Live and is going to have sort of a big, you know, public circle jerk about how wonderful he is. I do kind of like that as maybe some sort of short-term catalyst here. So how's that, hey, take it easy, Grim. How's that, are there any new ETH fundamentals that are coming up here pretty soon? Does anybody know? Is there any catalyst on ETH that we should be keeping an eye out for? So this is that image blown up. Like, I do like this kind of, you know, the pi cycle kind of stuff. It said, okay, now maybe a little bit of a top. Also, too, that ETH, you know, we're kind of thinking maybe a little bit of a top there in the short term. And I actually don't mind this kind of thinking in here. So, whether you want to listen to the old man, which is kind of interesting because, you know, considering how, like I said, considering how overly bullish the public is, we're not really going anywhere in a big hurry. In fact, I might make the argument Bitcoin's basically been sideways now since middle of February. It's not nearly as bullish a chart as you think it is. And if anything, this is probably a really good analogy of distribution. So, accumulation, smart money, buying. And then, buy when it snows. You guys, you heard me say that earlier. Buy when it snows. Here we are, April, May. We just had the big public issuance, a massive amount of stock related to crypto. Does the market need to digest that? I think so. As I showed you off of that public tweet, this is sort of the price action. I share this in the lounge. What I like to call squiggly line theory, where you just sort of, you kind of get into the rhythm of what the sort of market cycles are. And I just like to sort of, what am I thinking is going to happen here? So I drew this actually back over here. It's interesting how we have a cute little A, B, C, D come in. So kind of like this, A, B, C, D. It's not guaranteed that the market's going down here. No guarantees whatsoever. In fact, because we broke that high, this ABCD has actually been invalidated. But we could do a little bullish one. If I was thinking sort of upside objectives, I would go AB and then clone that. CD. So right up into this wick right here. Probably a bunch of trap bulls in there that would love to get released. That's also to the original inside bar failure level. See that right there? Boom, boom, right there. So interesting how that's where the market's projecting. Also, to notice, once we get up top here, if this really is a bull, you want to see the buyers actually step up and push this thing up. I don't know whether it's really a bull. Right now, I would say this is nothing more than a trading range right here. So squiggly line theory, and again, that's that sort of thinking that I do like a dip into that sort of U.S. tax filing deadline, middle of May. And I think I've told you guys before, Bitcoin hates my birthday. I've never seen Bitcoin rally on my birthday. So I would be very, very surprised if Bitcoin does actually rally on my birthday. But usually, May 11th, whatever it's worth, usually Bitcoin and crypto is kind of like, meh. I wake up on my birthday and I go, oh, thanks, crypto. Oh, big nothing. So we'll see how it goes. I can't see a lot of buying interest here over the next little while. And interesting, too, how all we did was, remember I showed you that tweet. I was thinking we'd rally up into reload short zones here. We just rallied up, tagged Mountain Man, put in a doji, and now we're actually threatening to issue a little bit of an empire top. It's 3-bar fractal. Obviously the fractal people, they love 5-bar fractals. So that would mean beep, close here, and ideally, this next bar tomorrow is inside lower than this high here, and then we careen through these lows. If that's the case, then that could be a little bit bothersome for this rally. And I think what happened here was this was nothing more than Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett coming out at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, shitting on the corn, and a lot of people just sort of, well, we better slow down. And, any sort of long-time, Berkshire fans, they might have even said, fuck it, if they don't like it, let's sell our corn. Let's get the hell out of crypto. And, we made some money. Great, wonderful. That's what I think's going on here. It's not really too dramatic. It's certainly not a sell signal unto itself. Just we rallied up, banged right into a resistance line, right into, I teach people on the site. This is one of the one futures trader that I worked with who, this guy always made money. And he just religiously hit the 61.8 fib every single damn day. He traded crude with me over at that old prop firm that I used to work at. Every single day, he's always hitting 61.8. Just So we affectionately at the school, we like to call this 61.8 his level. Mountain Man, good old Brandon. Interestingly enough, he was actually the very first person who tried to teach me about the corruption of the central bankers and what they've done to people, savers, to American society. Obviously, he was a guy who made money from trading, so he saved. He had a lot of assets. And he used to actually call Alan Greenspan the number one most wanted villain in the United States of America. And he used to pass out this wanted sign. Wanted dead or alive. So even back then, that was like 10 years ago. There were lots of Fed haters in the professional trading world because they could see what the bankers were doing to the system, which is so sad. So anyway, long and short of it here, not a big surprise we stalled out here. The question is, in my eyes, what does Wall Street and the 1% and sort of, this silent generation that still has a lot of money working in the market, what's their reaction going to be from Mr. Munger and Mr. Buffett's comments tomorrow, when retail trading gets open again? My hunch is if this thing fails through this level, we're probably going to have to do some serious backfilling here. And then, like I said, too, we've got a bit of a headwind ahead of us. There's going to be a lot of people with some serious tax bills. So just understand that, I would imagine that the sellers are going to dominate over the buyers. In crazy crypto land, it's always a guessing game. Does Mr. Musk want to push his Dogecoin to new highs here heading into his public social event? It'd be interesting. Tax deadline is the 15th. Is he appearing on that show on the 8th? Maybe he wants to bump this up as high as he can to actually make some money so he can pay his taxes. I don't know. Is he appearing on that tax deadline date? I don't know. I do think something like this will probably rally into that. It might be able to avoid sort of that bigger sort of capital outflow of the market to pay taxes sort of effect. I don't know. It's tough to say. The interesting thing about this, though, is if I was actually, day trading and wanting to short this, ironically enough, it's actually coming into a level that I would be interested in taking a shot at. Oh, that's no good. If I have an exchange that I can at least trade on, let's see, and it's liquid. Bing Bong. Yeah, I'll trade on Bing Bong, whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what. Oh, I guess Binance probably. Actually, it'd be interesting. Probably the traders looking at this thing. Yeah, right here. So, if this thing is a top, it shouldn't surprise anybody that this is a level where the pros are going to be like sharpshooting. 88.6. There you go. Candle body highs. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. You can see the level up there. Is this a trade that I would want to do? Not really. If I was in maybe like a trading competition and I had to, actually be trading and taking trades, I might, Actually, a nice failure through here. You just sort of frame the risk based on this price action. Let the market dump through this low, and then on the counter trend rally, if you can get any kind of fade sign right in there, that'd probably be a half decent trade setup. And geez, this thing's got a bit of money to make if the market does decide to fall apart here. 50% rules. That's what I like to suggest people use as nice conservative price targets. Yeah, so we already did hit this 50% rule. That's why I like to use 50% rules as price objectives. As the market's dumping into here, you're actually taking profits on shorts, right? And then boom, boom, boom. Maybe that is a 50% objective. That would make sense down into these lows. So if you had the balls to hit this, maybe it's something like, and I'm just hypotheticalizing. You can apply this to any price chart. Doesn't really matter. Any asset. Something like that. 3 to 1. maybe look to sell like half of the position, move your stop to a scratch on the remaining, and just see where the wind blows. And maybe on the remaining, you're actually taking profits down here. If anything, that's a great analogy of what I see Kiran and Daniele doing on the day trader room on the site, day in, day out. It's beautiful. Is what you really want to try and do as a day trader is just get that free look. So I see like Daniele and Kiran, they do this all the time, and they're just, like off of 1 minute charts. It's beautiful to watch them. They're professionals. They're just doing their craft, and it's great to see. But they'll hit something like that, then they'll get like a dump, then they'll take one off, and then they'll put their stop at scratch on the remaining, and now they've got a free look. Let's say they sold 2 in here. Take one off at maybe, some A, B, C, D objective, whatever. So they've made a bit of money on this guy. Well, I don't need the dollar sign there. Just on this one lot right here that they took profits on. They've got the one runner on the books. And maybe they'll put the stop to scratch on the remaining. And if this thing, so there they are sitting there on the remaining one. And if this thing pukes out, then fucking A. If it comes back and stops them out at scratch on the remaining, so what? So I remember I made reference to Brandon there a few minutes ago when I was at Top Step and just doing a day trading thing. He used to do that all the time. Now I actually see at TRI the boys are doing exactly the same thing. I mean, that's just the way the professionals trade. I'm so proud of them. And what's so cool is, and this is what I was hoping, was that now Daniele and Kiran are working on a further module. Okay, so you want to take your day trading to the next level. This is exactly what I need you to set up. Sierra charts, this quote feed, get your line set up, get the accounts all put in place. And they want to create a co-op prop firm within TRI. So it's not like there's some manager who's making money off of your back end. Nebraska. Sorry. But we're all in this together, right? It's a co-op. I love that. So proud of you guys. So proud of this TRI place. All right. So, I don't know, Doge, whatever. This is more like sort of a professional trader, so I'm talking levels. I don't give a shit about the underlying story. And really, for professional traders, that's actually what has to happen a lot, is you're hunting your setups. If you want to include fundamental drivers in your setups, big earnings reports, insider transactions, financings, whatever, that's totally cool, but try not to get wrapped up in the romanticism about your individual asset. This thing will do any old damn thing it wants. It'll go up, it'll go down, it'll go in, it'll go out, and it's not really even a reflection of the value of the asset. It's just more about public participation. Brian, what about that? Well, actually, I was talking about that earlier, Nick. So, Nick, you got to watch the video from earlier. Yeah, I said that... and I'm going to change my name. If that ABCD gets hit, what's my new name now? I got a really cool name. I'm going to change my name. I'm moving to Georgia, and I'm going to become landed gentry. Well, it's not open to the public, Nick. The day trading room. What we're going to do, which is really, really cool. And is that you, Nick, over there? Is that the same Nick? Am I talking to you on both places? Nick Ray? Is that you, Nick Bagzaroff? Hello? Come in, Tokyo. I'm just here. Okay, so that's a different Nick. All right. George, USSR. All right. Georgia. Yeah, no, not Georgia. No, not Georgia. That Georgia. Georgia, USA. I think the place I was looking at was just outside of Athens. Okay. So Nick, I don't know how far along are you in the school program? because we don't want to invite anybody into that room who's not a site veteran and hasn't worked directly with Kiran. So if you've finished the level 2 program and you are with Kiran, then he will sort of mentor you while you're moving through the level 3, and then you can just dovetail right into his day trading course. And really, he doesn't want anybody day trading in there with him professionally until they worked with him in there for like 6 months. I mean, his combine is tough. And I think that's good. The tougher, the better, right? Because we just want you to win, right? We want you to make money. That's the whole point of this exercise. So the harder, the better. And then what we're going to do, and this was Grimm's suggestion, which I think is totally fucking awesome, is he's going to set up an OBS YouTube feed, and we should probably do it through the YouTube channel here. And we'll pipe it through the site so that if you want to watch the day traders, kind of like the YouTube video, like the people on YouTube right now, you can just passively watch the day traders just do their thing through the OBS YouTube feed. But you wouldn't actually be in the room. And like I said, Kiran just wants the actual guys who are actually trading to be in the room, chit-chatting and, you know, wasting everybody's time. And I spend half of the morning there just filling the air with anecdotes and stuff, and they love it. So, and I really like that as sort of a professional direction for me. You know, you guys should all understand, I did not start TRI to go into the business of teaching people how to trade. I don't know whether you guys realize that or not. I don't really have any great aspiration to be a school teacher. I had this old 1980s website that actually was some great algorithms that I built. And one of the sort of spin-offs of this idea of TRI was to get that 1980s signaling system into the 21st century. Of course, that ain't cheap. And, you know, so far, over the past 3.5 years to get this damn thing up and running, it's cost me, Jesus. I mean, like, literally, we've had to spend probably about $500,000. I mean, a lot of money. So, well, somewhere between $200,000-$300,000 and $500,000, somewhere in there. So this ain't cheap. I mean, but where are you going to get that money? You've never seen me. In fact, I joke with Sjord because I taught myself how to program PHP, MySQL, HTML, JavaScript to build that old page. And as soon as Sjord saw the code, he was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So just because I wrote the code and it worked, that doesn't mean it was done right. So, and that's all about this. I mean, ideally, I'd like to see TRI transition into, let's see. Nope, not those pages. Thought I had the website up here somewhere. Nope. Yeah, here, this stuff. I mean, this is really what I want the site to mature into. It's taken a while, you know, it's coming along. We did have unfortunately, we had a little hiccup here this past week, but, you know, that's to be expected as we're building this stuff out. You have to figure out how to build this so you're anti-fragile. So it's definitely a work. So you can see the engine died out there last week, and it was spitting up some damn cool stuff. So anyway, Sjord's working away, getting it back up and running and fixing whatever the hell went wrong. Really, you know, the interesting thing is, you know, like I did just a few years ago, a cute little demonstration. You know, that's what this funny little sort of mention at the top of my page is. This is pretty business as usual for a guy like me. So, you know, this was a fun exercise in that basically I went from absolutely nothing and not really having a reason to even be alive to where we are today. But it's, if anything, the reason why you guys have, how do I say this? One of the only reasons why I'm actually doing this is because I have a severe lack of confidence in myself. And if anything, you guys should all be extremely thankful for that lack of self-confidence. So the purpose was not to build a school and, you know, become sort of like some sort of dean of school forever and, you know, just be a sort of talking mouthpiece school, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I know that the process works, and we had a lot of people that were like, well, Brian, you know, I'm really interested in this crypto and I'd like to learn how to trade. Can you teach me what you've learned over the years? And I was like, okay, fine. Threw the school together, and it was a great sort of the means, well, the end goal to try and get this website up and running, the TRI signaling system, and this community, right? Really get the community to the point where it was self-sustaining and could just hum along and do its thing. That's what the school was really built for. So it served its purpose, and frankly speaking, I don't really have any great aspirations. It's just, it's going to do what it was meant to do. And the cool part about it, like I said, I didn't force Kiran or Daniele to do what they're doing. And we also have another gentleman, David O, on the site, who is working diligently on an education program to really drill into market patterns and what do markets in transition look like, which will be another offering on the site. These should be all the natural spin-offs of this organism just taking over and it coming to life and it just doing its own thing. So that's really what I want to see happen here. Which means that I'm not really, you know, big shill. There's no big shill here. I mean, if we can help you, the process works. As I've said to you just there a moment ago, I mean, I don't have a problem with making money from trading. I could just quit TRI and just go right back to my prop firm and just carry on doing that. Or I could play around in crypto, and I find it hilarious. The silly little crypto in the past year and a half. I won't show you the balances because somebody said that it's not good for me to show these pages on these free videos. But the just even the piece of shit Trex account of all the garbage, you know, it's back over. It's close to $500,000 with the cash that we took out of it. I mean, hell, I could just close up shop and just live off of that for the rest of, you know, at least another. I guess that'll last a week or two. But I come here out of a genuine desire to really try and make a positive difference in your guys' life. This is my passion. This is everything that I do. You know, somebody mentions that there's no fucking 100,000 followers and all that kind of shit. Yeah, because I'm not in this for the shill. I'm in this because I like doing this. I love trading, and I love sort of conveying, hey, this is what I've seen, you know, maybe it can help you out, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. You know, actually an interesting sort of side, when I was tweeting out this morning comments about those, you know, the public. I think this is a great analogy of the public participating. And finally, new rule. I mean, he really does not understand crypto at all. And what's kind of weird is through his rant, he tried to come across like he did understand crypto, but he really doesn't understand it. But if anything, it's a really, really good analogy of what the public sees. Because I think he's a perfect talking piece for the public. So, like I said, yeah, you want what the public sees and the message that the public is getting. And then actually, I did a nice retort, and I even commented on his video. Mind you, it'll probably be deleted. Let's see if he's deleted it yet. He might have. New rule, nothing with... nope, still there. Yeah, cool. So, you want a real sort of public disclosure. Number one, he doesn't understand how crypto works. So he doesn't understand this idea that, yes, there actually is some value to this permissionless ledger validation. He also doesn't really understand, in my opinion, the environmental impact and the environmental argument. I thought it was interesting if you actually read into China coal production and China coal consumption, these silly central planners, right? They put these 5-10 year plans in place, and it doesn't matter. They couldn't give a fuck about the environment. They couldn't give a fuck, right? So they're like doubling their coal-fired electrical generation production, if you will. I don't know if that's a word or not. And it's according to their 5-year plans. And oh, by the way, they're not even halfway done their coal production electrical generation plans. They're not even halfway done. So quit your fucking bitching about environment. Like, where the fuck is Greta? You want to point Greta. Quit pointing her at the guy who's not fucking composting in his backyard and point her at this. This is the problem, and yet nobody wants to talk about it. They fucking can somebody school that stupid fucking... Oh, I don't want to get going because I got myself into trouble last time because people are like, hey, pay any price for Ethereum. It doesn't matter. Right? And then I start, calling names and shit, and people get angry at me. I mean, seriously, what a load of horse fucking shit. If you environmentalists are really serious about the environment, get off your fucking ass and stop China now. I mean, it doesn't matter. We could fucking take all of the fucking cars off the road here in North America, and that is not going to change anything. When are we going to wake up here in the West? Why do we have to put up with Greta's? Point Greta there. That's where Greta needs to work. Drives you crazy. And I call up a fucking local politician complaining about the sound from the construction project that's financed by China, and the fucking politicians, oh, hello and welcome to the city of Burnaby's environmentally, politically correct green helpline. How can we help you? Can you please stop the fucking 24/7 construction? Oh, well, does that have something to do with COVID? Well, you've locked me in my house, and I'm not allowed to leave, and I have to sit here and listen to this Chinese finance construction nonsense 24/7. Just try. I mean, you're absolutely right. Estes says we have no representation anymore, and I look out my window. This doesn't make any sense at all. Who is going to be living in any of these places that are being built? And the worst part about it is that there are whole cities in China. According to the 5-year plan, we have to build 27 50-story sky-rise buildings. Was anybody going to be living in them? No. You, for saying that, off to the concentration camp you go. You need to be re-educated, not to ask questions. You're absolutely right, Estes. And it's interesting because even in Canada right now, there is legislation that's trying to be passed to actually even curtail my right to say what I'm saying on this social media platform right now. It's happening as we speak. So it'd be really interesting to see if I get a nice polite knock on my door from the censor police saying, you cannot spread hate speech about China and their overdevelopment of our industry lacking society. Well, economics doesn't support all this overdevelopment. Oh, off to the concentration camp you go, Mr. Beamish. You can see it coming. It's ridiculous. And the worst part about it, right, is that this is all, of course, the banks, right? It's all the banks, right? I even tweeted out to somebody recently here in Canada, because I sort of converse with my local Canadians, that, you know, even if we had a democratically elected politician that actually stood up and said enough is enough, I don't think there's anything that any of us 400 million people here in North America could do anything about this. You literally can't stop Joey Diamond right now. You can't stop him. It's impossible. And the worst part about this is, as soon as a guy like me gets any sort of traction, of course, he's got a bullet with my name written all over it. So, oh boy. Well, Brian got all ranty there. Sorry about that, folks. But, you know, this guy here, ironically enough, his message has actually been pretty consistent. Like, I've literally watched his form of comedy since the 1990s. He was a huge fan of Clinton and all that kind of stuff. So, ironically enough, the message doesn't really change. I mean, the left is the left, the right is the right. It's just the way it goes. But I took some time and actually gave him a very real response, because I just don't want this crypto is the enemy message to resonate too much without some sort of retort. I thought it was funny. I was even mentioning in the daily brief recap on Friday, you know, and this is a bad sign for crypto. But this guy here, I mean, they're hilarious videos.
Coming up.
This guy here, Remy, he does music videos. Unfortunately, he did a Bitcoin billionaire. You probably all remember that, right? He did a video of Bitcoin in December 2017. So you know, it's not a good sign when he comes out publicly touting something. But I thought this was hilarious. Listen to the beginning of this. I don't know whether we'll get in trouble, but just listen to the very beginning of this.
Bad news for savers, as even those with high-interest savings accounts are seeing their money disappear thanks to inflation.
That's actually right. So he nailed the nail on the head of the hammer? No, something like that. Anyway, he nailed it. That was right, but I thought this was funny. Listen to this.
But first, we'll detail every possible thing you could die from. He's a rational investor.
What did he just say? So I actually replied on his music video. I said, hey, I'm a rational investor, and I actually own a shitload of dog money. So try and figure that one out. Isn't that interesting? My rant there just got some downvotes on YouTube. Go figure, eh? Oh, well. So, take it for whatever it's worth. Is that a top of the market kind of sign out of Doge? Maybe. I do like the idea of Doge rallying into Mr. Monk's public appearance on Saturday Night Live. So let's really gun for that over the top ABCD bull target I have up top, and if that happens, if I get fills on my bags on Doge above $1.50, let's say up in that $2 area, then I officially change my name to Sedona. What the hell is it? I'll do it, man. Sedona Euphoria, and I'm moving to Georgia. So mark my words. Wait. If it happens, I'm a man of my word. That might be a great segue for me to move on to the next part of my life. Okay, so point of the matter here is interesting comment on Doge. Told you about Larry. Larry's looking for a bit of a top, but what I do like is he's saying that these pullbacks are buying windows. I showed you the weekly Bitcoin chart. I think same sort of thing. Weak sell signal. And actually into Collins levels. Actually, I guess I don't have it here. Into Collins levels. I do like that sort of pump chaser zone. As reload zone levels. Sort of mid-May, middle of June. So what is that? That's 33,000 all the way up to 41, 42. You know, I think Willie Woo, I think he was a really big fan of that sort of like 40,000 floor area. I like that thinking. It resonates with me. I will say, though, you know, if we do start closing below here, we might have to chop around for a while in this area. It wouldn't surprise me. We'll see how it goes. It's an interesting hard low there. Probably, yeah, I do like the idea that if we do break this, it's going to be a bit of a head and shoulders. You can kind of see. In fact, probably, I'll just notice this now. Half the reason why I like doing these videos is I actually see stuff as I'm talking to you guys. So we got boom, 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 boom. You see that low there? I would prefer it to be more symmetrical, but there, boom. You know, if we come up into the top here, or even roll over here, and then start dumping, then because this is angled, it's not so structurally firm. So maybe it's just more like correction kind of thing. Boom, 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 boom. So down into here. Where's that? 29,000. You know, full disclosure, I still got my bid working to buy the Dogecoin Bitcoins that I sold up top here. I got a bid to buy those back at 25. That's sort of a stink bid. All hell breaks loose. End of the world. Blah! But in a weird sort of way, this would actually be exactly like that that scenario from back in 2013, I think it is. I really like that thinking here. So wouldn't that just shock all the crypto kids to no end if, you know, the risk market just comes right off, stocks start going into correction mode, Fed says, fine, okay, you want higher rates, you don't want inflation, fine, we're going to raise rates. And everybody's like, what? What the fuck? What the fuck? You know, and we get that kind of action. I like that thinking, you know. I really do. Of course, that's the last thing in the world the crypto people want to see. So, and really here, that's a blow up, right? So that's this kind of scenario. I mean, I don't want you guys to lose your lunch, so maybe a little soft on that might be nice. But I do like that sharp correction here through that May, June. But once that May, June is over with, then I think we're setting ourselves up for the rest of the summer kind of silly market. And what I think is actually going to happen is we're going to get some sort of insane blow off top into the end of the year. All the altcoins are going to rip. The scary thing is the altcoins will rip into this, but after the beginning of the new year, that last altcoin rally, you actually have to look at as a selling window. And I think I've told you guys before, if this kind of scenario does play out into the end of the year, I probably will just liquidate a lot of my crypto and just simply go and be landed gentry and just live elsewhere. And do things like run the site and the daily brief videos, because it's what I like to do. It's my passion. Just hang out with the day trading guys in the room and, you know, do our TRI SOF clubs and stuff like that. And actually, I've got one guy who's pretty close to the point of being able to be the level 3 instructor. So once that's done, I'll just sort of passively just watch the instructors do their work with the students. But that's ideally what I'd like to see happen. So anyway. Okay, I've been blabbing away there for about an hour and a half. I hope you guys have enjoyed this offering. We do have that raffle. I don't know how many people have signed up. I'll go hang out with Liam for the afternoon. Then come back, take a look at what you guys have done. Put together a little wheel for Kevin. And like I said, if you wanted a free shot at a seat for the school, because this is just a quick little flash raffle, there's probably not going to be a lot of names on the wheel. And that means the odds of you winning actually should be pretty good. And then David is probably for the rest of this week and into sort of Sunday's big sort of send-off to get us going for the new school term. David's probably going to have me, sort of sending a very specific message out daily. So, okay, I think we'll leave it at that. Didn't see too many questions. Let's see. Always look forward to Sundays. Good luck with your son. Hey, thank you so much for that. Sure got a little riled up there politically. I'm sure all the China lovers absolutely hate that stuff. Two Michaels, right? Unfortunately, if you are a Canadian, you should know what that means. And unfortunately, until that is resolved the way that I think it should be resolved, i.e. let the goddamn guys go, I have a very, very bad opinion and public message about anything to do with China. So, sorry, that's just the way it's going to be. Two Michaels, simple as that. If anything, that it shouldn't make a difference, right? The process, making money from trading, it doesn't matter. Politics are irrelevant. So, regardless of whether you subscribe to my political message or not, don't let that really affect your decision. Like go to that page that David has you go to sign up for the raffle and really listen to the TRI people. That should be the sales pitch as to whether you actually decide that this place is for you. As David said there earlier, all of you, if you are interested, you should be on the 30-day trial just to be on the inside, right? And we said that we were going to talk about something tomorrow, so there's a little teaser for you to get your butt on that 30-day trial. But the point being that what we teach works. What we teach is what's called the process. It means slowing you down. It means you taking less risk on individual bets. It means you looking in the mirror and holding yourself to account. And it means no more bullshit, right? You want to learn how to trade? Fine. Learn how to trade. The tools are here. It's universal. Nothing ever changes. What changes, though, is the public's emotional behavior in the marketplace, where they go from like literally end of the world, your shitcoin's worthless, you're never going to make any money, it's dead, wrecked, to, oh my God, I'll pay whatever price you want for that. FOMO, chasing, and sadly, both of those scenarios end horribly. We don't want you to be anything like that. In fact, we want to sort of turn it around. We want you to be buying when assets are down. We want you to be selling into strength in the market. So that's the process. It works. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I could just go trade my own money. I don't need to do this. I'm here to try and help you guys. If you need that extra help, everything very laid out, step by step by step, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, then that's what the school's all about. And it's produced some fantastic results. So really, at the end of the day, the question's up to you. Do you really want to get serious about this? You want to quit fucking around? I'm not selling Tide laundry detergent. I don't care whether Google's promoter or sponsor gets any revenue out of this. I don't care. What I care is I want to make a positive difference in this world. Okay, rant done. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Like I said, somebody asked, are you reinvesting? Oh, that's a tough one. You know what I'm gonna do? I did my my shitcoin 5,000. So I don't know whether you know what that is, Edward Alexandru Lamar. If anything, what I want you to do is come on the 30-day trial. Ask me that same question in the daily brief tomorrow, and we'll go through the shitcoin 5,000 challenge. Okay? So if I'm gonna be buying anything, I want to be scooping up the shit off the bottom. Am I going to be reloading a lot here? I don't think so. I think I'm more than happy. Trust me, I've got a lot of crypto on the books. I mean, a lot. So if anything, I kind of want to lighten up, and we also need to sort of reorganize TRI in itself, and this actually lightening up window might give us the opportunity to reorganize this place. So it's a little bit better structured to serve TRI and the TRI community going forward. Like this kind of stuff. This is fun, right? And it's kind of hilarious. But I think actually now I want to move TRI into a new direction. So, we've started things like, the Rational Investor has its own feed now. I want Sjord's algorithm signals to be spat out here. We've got Kevin blog posting, all that kind of stuff. So I think the tone of how TRI and Brian is going to be actually interacting with you and the public and the market and all that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be changing over time. So I don't know whether that answers your question. I think with regard to crypto, I hate to say it, folks, but I think 2022 and 2023, that could be a very, very difficult environment. Think of, remember 80 years, right? So think of, well, what did 1942 look like in the world? Oh boy, that was a bad year. How about 80 years before that? That was 1862. How was that year? Did anything big happen, especially all you Americans, right around 1862? Think about that. How about 80 years before that? 1782. Did anything happen? 1776? Does that sound a bit familiar? 1782. All right, let's go 80 years before that. How about 1702? Anything happen around that? Actually, interestingly enough, Sweden and Russia actually were at odds through all that. So, anyway, so food for thought. Point of the matter is that this could be a tough few years ahead of us. If anything, if we absolutely go apeshit to the bull side, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but I'll tell you, I have a massive cash hoard in the bank and my registered accounts, even in the crypto accounts now. And I like the idea of just sitting on a mountain of money. And if the tax man comes along and says, oh, here's a surprise $10,000 tax we're hitting you with. Okay, fine. There's your money. Fuck off. So that's the kind of position that I want to be in. So like I said, I'm going to be lightening up and just getting into just a bulletproof, that's ideally what I'd like to be, a bulletproof sort of situation heading into 2022 and beyond. So, okay, rant, shut the hell up. Wish me luck with Liam. Join the raffle. Good luck. We'll do the raffle draw tomorrow. Who knows what the hell's going to happen. Have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye.